Hi Stild, how you doing? Welcome, welcome. How's your day so far? Your week so far? Yeah, true. It does match the description though. It's still ah. It's just funny ah. Mm, Been fine, I guess. Hmm. Seems more like doesn't like hasn't been horrible. Or what do you think? I'm just struggling to be disciplined, procrastinating a lot. Hmm. We actually had the topic of procrastination a couple, um, I think like a week ago or something. Um, and it's actually like a really interesting topic. Um, because I feel like there's, there's different concepts sort of about motivation and how to do stuff and how to get stuff done. Um, And in therapy, usually you sort of like touch that topic at some point. Um, because it really like connects well to this thing of like having goals you don't achieve. Which is like I don't know, like one of the goals you don't achieve apparently if you're in therapy is like being like mentally healthy or mentally stable and stuff like this, right? So you are there in the first place because you have goals where you need like sort of like help or more support achieving them, um or just because you haven't achieved them and you don't really know how or if the possibility is even there sort of, but we often see this picture of like, oh, you just need to have like more willpower and that like discipline and like getting things done and stuff like this is only about willpower. And especially we have this from like these like there's been these memes, right, about like influencers um being like, oh, I wake up at like 3 o'clock in the morning and then I run a marathon and then I do like ice bathing and then it's like 7:15 and then I do I don't know, like I make food for the entire village and then I go working for like 20 hours in 2 hours and then I run another marathon and then I don't know, like learn how to become like a hairstylist in my free time and then after that break I don't know, work for another 20 hours in 2 hours or whatever. Like I don't know if you know those memes, but I've seen them like quite a lot actually a couple months ago. Um, how it's just sort of like portrayed in our society that it's like only sort of about willpower and then you just have like endless amount of energy. And then you don't procrastinate, but you get like everything done. And if you do procrastinate, then it's only about like this, I don't know, the missing willpower. And then you just like you're sort of like portrayed as like weak and you just have to do it and you just have to pull yourself together and like sort of like in that direction, right? This is how we sort of like see society. Is that also like how you would describe it? Or do you have like a slightly different picture on this? I stopped believing in influences. Uh, A day in my life, yeah. Definitely. I mean, even if it, like, honestly, like, even if their a day in my life is, like, correct, it's still, like, they don't have the same job as other people, like, they're influencers. Which, first of all, makes them self employed, which makes you able to decide when you want to work and when you don't want to work, and which makes you therefore, able to sort of, like, adjust it to your entire, I don't know, to your best performance sort of pattern. So, for example, for someone who likes to sleep long, it's like starting work late, and for someone who likes to work in the middle of the night, who to work in the middle of the night. Um, so that's also already like a huge advantage, right? But so many of the things we sort of like give credit to in influencers is not something they like did on their own. Um, for example, I don't know, like if they have like really beautiful hair, they usually have like really great hairstylists and go to appointments like really frequently and get this whole like repair hair whatever thing. So it's like it's sort of like easier to make it like look good. Um, Also, if you had like a lot of like I don't know like beauty operations and you have like permanent makeup, it's like you wake up and you look amazing because like well you're not like a regular person waking up, but you're just this like you wake up with like lashes on, you wake up with eyebrows done, you wake up with like skin basically like flawless, and then you need to put some moisturizer on and then you're like ready to go sort of. And that's your full makeup routine. Versus like other people just I don't know like need to look like that would need to put like way more effort in. And that's sort of like about the like work, I guess, or like effort and energy which has been put into it. We don't really see and we don't connect to the topic. But sort of going back to what I was like initially going at is that hi Lucia, welcome, welcome. We're at the moment talking about procrastination and discipline. Um, so yeah. But I'm I'm sort of fine. Uh, I would go more in depth on that later. Um, oh, do you struggle with English or? Hmm. Okay, interesting. Um. So, yeah. What's in a mug? Just tea, like a winter tea of. I think it's called like caramelized pear. Um, it's a black tea with milk. Yeah. Mm, There's the word for the fear of long words. Oh my god. I'm not gonna even say that word. But nice of you to stop by, Lucia. I hope you enjoy your day as well. I sadly believe we can't really avoid long words in this stream too much, since like a lot of words connected to like mental health and the entire topic is like are really long, right? So Sorry about that. All right. Not to derail the discussion here. Let's go back to what I was saying, to procrastination, and that is a word. Jesus Christ. Okay. um yeah, let's go back to procrastination and discipline. Because procrastination is not really something, like, in my eyes, from my perspective, it's not really something which means that you're not disciplined, or that you don't, I don't know, that you're weak or lazy or like any of those things. Thank you. You too, Lucia. um, but it's sort of, yeah, but it's also like you can't really avoid them. But Jesus Christ, I'm starting with this for the third time now. Um, yeah. So I don't think that procrastination has anything to do really with discipline, or that you're lazy, weak, or anything. I don't, like, I know that in our society, this is like really like usually like sort of the logic we have around it, but I don't really believe in it anymore. I think procrastination is more about not having actively thought and being fully aware of the goals you do want to achieve. And let me explain this for a second, because I feel like in our society we have a lot of goals which sort of like come from the outside, because we're not as good to sort of like learn that like we need to make goals for ourselves, and that like to sort of like be separate from expectations from other people, and not be sort of like buy into those expectations and try to fulfill them. And I don't think this is like something like unnatural or something, right? I don't think this is like a mistake we do a lot of the time. I just think it's like really natural to try and fulfill other people's expectations. But I feel like, especially because of social media and like just being able to like globally even have expectations, I think it's like really easy to have a lot of expectations from society influence you. And so the, I don't know, like very classic expectations are that you like low-key need to be fit, because otherwise you're like lazy and unhealthy and like, I don't know, maybe ugly, whatever. Sort of always depends also like on the circle in society you like move in and surround yourself with. Um, oh, I dropped the pen. So there's a lot of expectations, and there's a lot of expectations on women, there's a lot of expectations on men, there's a lot of expectations on everybody. Not everybody feels the same expectations, but there's definitely like lots of expectations around us. And these expectations give us certain goals. For example, going to the gym. And if we have, I feel like if we adapt a goal, which is not really our goal, but just a goal from society, we don't feel motivated towards it, because there's because there is no motivation, right? Like the goal is coming from society, so it's more like we feel pressure, we feel negative motivation, maybe like sort of like, oh, if I don't do this, then I'm like a bad human, or then I'm lazy, or then like then I don't fulfill expectations from society, and I might be like become an outcast or something. But it's not really something we have motivation towards. Not like like if you look at like athletes, for example, they have motivation to get out of bed and to like do this, like I don't know how many kilometers run or something, because they know like, okay, there's this next like goal I have of like getting the new time or whatever, and they actually have motivation on themselves. Like they don't, well, some of them probably do. Like, there's also a lot of pressure in those situations. Like, it depends on the situation, okay? Everything is complicated in life. But there's definitely like some people who then really have that goal and do that out of free will. Like, they don't feel negative pressure towards it. And so that's where their motivation is coming from, right? Like fitness influencers who like go to the gym like 6 times a week or something and like make all those videos, like they have motivation to do that. Versus the person who's like working 40 hours a week and just doesn't want to be unhealthy, doesn't have the motivation to go to gym 6 times a week and like look like, I don't know, the Hulk or something. Like, we would maybe like that because it's like, I don't know, like it's one of those things where like if you could choose to look like a top model sort of, like, you probably would. I don't know, like if it doesn't cost you anything, you know, and it's like if you just associate it with something positive, you would. Um and so there's like yeah, I just picked gym as like some like an example. Doesn't like it's more of like an example for the entire thing. So there's like a lot of expectations and goals which come from the outside where we don't have direct motivation for, where we rather have this like negative motivation of like not like needing or like wanting to fit into society, wanting to be a part of society and not wanting to be an outcast, not wanting to be isolated and stuff like this. Um, and then there's goals, for example, from our parents and expectations from them or like our family, and which are sort of like in the same basket because they're also like expectations from the outside, right? But they're definitely like closer to us and we're more dependent on them. And some of those expectations already start when we were kids and when we were actually dependent on them. So those expectations and goals are like way heavier, sort of, and way bigger to us and influence us even more than the goals of society. And then we have some goals we actually want to achieve our own. And then we have some goals we don't necessarily want to achieve, but because we live in the system we live in, we sort of need to. So, for example, having a job which pays decent money. Like, it's not really like you might not, you know, like want to work in finances, but when you thought about working in art, you were like, well, that's not gonna pay my bills, so now you work in finances. And there's definitely like some people have like the option to just like pick the job they really want. But for example, doing any type of job for 40 hours is probably something we like wouldn't choose if we wouldn't need to, sort of like I feel like everybody would probably work less, like part-time or something, to have like free time and then like also have a job, because like people do sort of like a job, but yeah, not really 40 hours a week or more. So those are like goals we sort of like we need to do because of the system we live in. It's also like, I don't know, like doing taxes and I don't know, like saving money to buy an apartment someday. It's, I don't know, like a lot of them are just sort of like connected to society. Or, for example, like buying a car, even though like you personally don't really need a car, but you need to get to work and this is the only way, and then you need a car. Um, so yeah, there's a lot of goals around us. And the goals we actually have positive motivation for, which is the best motivation, are only the goals we really want to do for ourselves, which are sadly a tiny amount of those, usually. And which are especially a tiny amount of those if we don't actively think about all those goals. And especially with procrastination, I feel like it happens more often and heavier, sort of, if we have all of these goals around us and we don't really we don't want to recognize that it's not our goal, but only the society's goal. So we still have sort of the expectation towards ourselves that we fulfill that goal, even though we have no motivation towards it and don't want to work towards it. And then we just don't fulfill it the entire time. And that makes us feel shitty, and that makes us feel like we procrastinate, even though procrastination in that moment just means we just don't want to do that. We don't have motivation to do that. Like, if you would have motivation to do it, you would do it. And that's sort of like the low-key funny thing. Like, most people who feel like procrastination, like if you ask them like about things they want to do, they actually do them. And it doesn't matter if they're like hard to do or if it takes long to do them, but they get done. But then with these goals, they don't feel any motivation towards. That's where they like sort of like are calling themselves lazy and weak and whatever, and like they don't have energy and all of those sort of like negative words. Just because they don't fulfill goals they don't want to fulfill. But they just feel sort of like they need to fulfill them. And that procrastination and all these negative assumptions about yourself, those can actually take more energy out of you. And those can actually make you act less, even towards the goals you do feel motivated towards. Because you get afraid of goals in general, because you feel like, oh no, you won't achieve them, or like, oh, you have so much on your plate already, you don't have time for it. So I feel like with procrastination, it can really, really help to write all of the goals down on a list and then really consider which of them you want to do. Like, which are the goals you actually want to do and why do you want to do them? And really like think about the goal in like with everything it takes. Because that's the other thing. Because we have so many expectations around things we don't really want to do or put a lot of effort in. For example, that like fitness influencer who goes like to the gym 6 to 7 times a week is like counting the calories the entire day, like every day. That person maybe has the best whatever, like so beautiful figure, whatever, so strong, all of that. And now we feel like, oh, we want to look like this. But if we were to consider everything it takes to look like that, not only going to the gym 6 to 7 times a week, like they do, which is like, I don't think this is the optimum. This is just an example. And then also like tracking all of your food and preparing like proper meals and all of that stuff, eating that much protein and all of this. It's like, I think a lot of us wouldn't actually want that goal anymore. And at least for me, that was like one of those topics where it's just sort of like, once I actually thought about it, what that goal would like mean for me and my life and for my free time. And that it would essentially mean like, okay, like do less with friends, go more to the gym, game less, go more to the gym, eat less of the like things I really like and make like really healthy food instead. And like, for example, if you go to the city, don't just go to any restaurants anymore, but actually only go to the healthy options and all of that. Like, once I really saw the goal with all it would take, I was like, okay, actually, like, no, I don't want to do this. Like, this is not worth it to me. Like, of course, I would like, if you would gift me the perfect body, I would take it. But like, for the price it costs, no, I don't want to. But knowing all of this, thinking about this actively, takes away the shame. Like, it takes away the pressure as well. It takes away the shame that you didn't achieve that goal because now you know you actually never wanted to, and it's not worth achieving it. for you. And it also takes away the pressure because it's something you can get like put off of your list because like you don't want to achieve that anymore. You don't need to like, I don't know, like bum yourself out the next day in like, oh, I haven't gone to the gym and stuff like this. And you're able to make goals which actually fit the bill, you know, like for example, I want to be like healthier. I want to be fitter. I don't necessarily want to look like I'm a fitness model or anything. I just want to be like more physically capable, sort of. So my goal from looking like a snack changed to just like doing some physical activity a couple times a week. So I just like I build a little bit of muscle and you know, like keep moving because it makes me like feel better about myself. And I really notice how like, I don't know, how it feels nice. But that takes all of the pressure away to like count calories, make proper food, like watch all of those things like so directly. And it also takes the pressure away to like never take pauses because I can take pauses. Like it's fine. And I can like change it. Like instead of going to the gym, I can play tennis with friends or I don't know, even go to a festival, stuff like this. And all of those things fulfill the goal. So I don't know. I feel like that's really something which can help a great deal. Um, because dealing with this feeling of procrastination and with the negative self talk, which is often connected to it, um, it can really hurt your self image. It can really hurt your self confidence. And your confidence is sort of the thing getting you to do stuff and doing the things you like. Even if it's a bit scary sometimes on all of those. And I don't know. So I think it's like really, I don't know, sort of important to challenge that belief maybe still and actually sort of like think about okay, like which of these goals with all of it would take, which of them do I still want to achieve? And which do I don't want to achieve? Or which goals do I want to change and adapt better to my life? Because there's only so much time we have, and I don't feel like we should blame ourselves for not having 100 hours a day, but only 24. I feel like blaming ourselves for having 24 hours only is not something really reasonable. And I know that when you say it like this, for everybody, it seems like it's unreasonable. But I feel like so often we really just blame ourselves for not having 100 hours a day. Because we blame ourselves for all of the goals we haven't achieved, even though we just didn't have the time for it and already did our best. Yeah. If I procrastinate, I mostly do other tasks until I have just that to do. Like the priority is low, but it has to be done. Oftentimes, I do household chores as procrastination, and then I think to myself, oh, I just avoid at the moment. Yeah. I feel like procrastination, like that's what procrastination does, right? Like it makes you like low-key feel useless. It makes you feel like you're wasting time. Like it, I don't know, like it so makes sense, I think, for our bodies to then try to avoid it and do other tasks instead. Because it wants to avoid the feeling of like being useless and like sort of like helping yourself be like, oh no, I like do stuff, but it doesn't want to waste energy on tasks it doesn't want to do. Or isn't like standing behind them fully, but wants to do like rather tasks which seem like useful. Like for example, household chores. So I don't know. I feel like so often procrastination for me just vanished once I actually thought about the goals. Because, like, I don't know, like, you can just change the goal and, like, sort of like see how it fits in your priority. And, like, yeah, some goals just fall away, to be fair, but that's not really negative because they only fall away if you, like, really don't want to do them anymore. And if you think about them real hard, and then you're like, okay, well, I like hate doing this, but at the same time, this actually does seem like the best way to achieve X, Y, Z, whatever. Um, I think you're gonna gain motivation, actually. Hi, Four. Welcome, welcome. How you doing? I'm glad you're back. Our body is always searching for ways to preserve energy. It's a task you don't even want to do and don't give you something are radically shut off of your get energy for list. Exactly. Exactly. So all of these tasks where you don't fully stand behind them, you don't want to do them. You don't have you not only have not motivation to do them, but yeah, you actively avoid them and rather do the things you have motivation for, sort of. And I don't know, like procrastination is really just a signal that you need to think about those goals more because apparently, like, I don't know, like I feel like to me as like probably autistic, it's like I think about this maybe more like clearly or whatever than others because I have to learn this properly. While like for others this is like more intuitive, so they don't have to learn it, but also they don't learn it then, you know? And I don't know, like it's just if you do something where you don't know why necessarily, and you're like in your mind you're like, well, actually I want to do something else. Like to me this is always a sign there's something going on the inside which I'm not aware of. Like this is not I'm lazy, this is not I'm weak or whatever, but there is like something in the equation is missing or going wrong, and I don't know why, but I have to think about it. And if you then like just sit down, like think about that task, or you don't need to sit down, you can just like stand and be like, wait, like what is actually the issue? Like, do I don't want to go to the gym because I don't know, like maybe it's cold outside, or do I don't want to go to the gym because I'm already like low on energy and I feel like then I'm gonna be like all out on energy or like overexert myself, or I don't want to go to the gym because I actually want to do something else and I don't see any value in going to the gym. Like I don't know, like there can be like so many stories behind this, but bet your ass there is one. Like for sure you have some story why you don't want to go to the gym and why you don't see it as useful. So I don't know, and sometimes this can also just be that you don't think it's possible to achieve the goal. Like sometimes, for example, with like, that's the story which is usually low-key evolving around like getting therapy. It's like for some people, they just don't really, like they procrastinate with it because they don't believe in the outcome. Like they don't believe that therapy is actually going to do something, going to help them or change anything. And this is also really important to notice. Like, if you don't believe in therapy, like, and if you notice, like, okay, you actually, like, you don't want to start it because you don't believe in the purpose of it or whatever. And then at the same time, you know, but actually, like, people say therapy works and, like, isn't this a bit hypocritical? Like, this now gives you the option to actually, like, research it better and find out if it is helping or not helping and sort of, like, convince yourself and make like a proper decision. Um, and this is so like this happens so often. But we just, I don't know, like what we learn, I feel like most of the time is not be curious to what this says or what it like what our body is trying to tell us, but only blame and shame ourselves. Only be like, oh, I'm just lazy, I'm weak, I'm so undisciplined, I'm like, blah, 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 yada, yada. This is not helping. We're not, I don't know, like, I think it's so sad actually that we just try to tell people that they're shitty. Because that's not the case. Like, we're all struggling, but we're good people, you know? Like, I don't know, and it doesn't help to just. Also, it's like so fake so often. Like, honestly, like, so many of those people who are like really determined sort of on like making that separation between like I'm disciplined and you're just lazy and weak if you don't fulfill those tasks, especially those people are so often so insecure about specifically this and feel like, okay, if they don't do this, they're actually so shitty themselves. And it's yeah, they like need this for their self-image to be better than others, but it's like this is no, I don't know. This is not really, that's not the way. Yeah. So how are you doing for, how's your week so far? Still, what do you think about the procrastination thing, by the way? You can say if you don't, if you're not convinced by something I say, by the way. It's making the conversation even more interesting, so don't be scared to be like, this doesn't make sense to me. How you mean this? Like, bitch, you telling me what? Nah. Also, I want to show you guys flowers. Because today evening, I told you on Monday, like, we're going to Germany for like a short trip. And we're starting today evening with friends, and we're gonna sleep at like my grandparents. Actually, my step grandparents, anyways. Doesn't really matter. And then we're gonna go to like an event in Germany, which is called Spiel, and it's sort of like a huge. Um, how do you say that? Like a huge, not like Comic Con, but like board game thing where like so many people showcase their board games and like anything board game related. And it's one of the biggest ones in like Europe, I think. And I've never been there. And our neighbors sort of were like, "Hey, you want to come?" You know. And so we're gonna go with them, and I'm so excited. Anyways, point being, I'm gonna visit my grandparents, and I asked them if they need anything from the Netherlands. And so we bought like stuff for them. Like, actually, they asked me to import coffee. I don't know why, but I don't really see the Netherlands as having like amazing coffee brands or whatever, but apparently they do. I don't know. Um, and vla actually, which is sort of like pudding, but apparently it's different. But I also bring them flowers, of course, and I made sort of like a tiny bouquet out of like two bouquets. And look at those. Look at the prettiness of this. You like, it's like slightly over, like the glowing too much right now, I think. Like, can you see colors properly? This is so beautiful. Like, seriously. So beautiful. I love the combination. I just literally, I bought like the bouquet out of like, so I bought like a bouquet of flower, like only the roses, and then like everything else. So I just like, it was easy, you know? I just like put them together, fit. That was it. Like, I didn't do much. Um, but the colors are so pretty. I can't. It's one of the, oh, it's so beautiful. I love it. Oh my God. Like, it's so beautiful. I can't, like, I can't shut up about it. Like, the entire time I just look at it, I think, like, oh, the colors. I would want some white to balance it out, but it's good. Actually, it's, yeah, I feel like on the camera it's a bit too, um, it's coming out like a little bit too bright, maybe. Let me make a picture. I don't know if that's, well, that's also changing the colors actually. Well, anyways. But the roses are like not as orange. It's more like slight pink and apricot or something. But yeah. Hi, young Flavie. Hola, welcome. How you doing? How was your week? So, for been a hectic week work-wise, but mentally good. Oh, I'm glad. That's good, right? So, what do you plan for the weekend? Do you plan to like relax, give yourself some rest, recover from the hectic work week? I washed my hair yesterday and I tried like a new method to like dry them. And yesterday it looked bomb. It looks absolutely amazing. Today it looks like absolute shit. I don't know what happened. Like seriously. I'm so disappointed. I actually really love how it's so bright. It's like genuinely, I just love how it's like full fall autumn theme. What's up? Well, we're having like a mental health check-in. We talked about procrastination and discipline before. And uh now we're sort of, yeah, I think we sort of like finished that topic up. Um yeah, so now it's just like back to zero, back to just offering space to bring up new topics, talk about your day, sort of share whatever you want to share. And yeah, that's sort of what's going on now. So do you have something you want to share? Maybe like how your day has been or how your week has been? Young Fluvy. Is that, by the way, how you say your name? I'm really sorry if you don't. And yeah, I mean, as always, if you guys don't have any topics or any specific topics you want to talk about, I definitely have some sort of like backup topics we can talk about instead as well. But don't be afraid to sort of like bring anything up you want to talk about or not, or ask any tough questions, or just talk about your day and ask for some emotional support. We try to, I don't know, sort of be here for everything, if that makes sense. I'm broke now, but it's for a good cause. I just bought my brother a car. Oh, damn. Nice, though. But that's a huge investment, no? Like, are you okay broke or like broke? Like, I hope you're okay broke. Like, you know, I feel like genuinely in like different countries, I'm broke means like can mean like very different things. So I just sort of like considering like you're German, I just sort of expect you to be like, okay, broke. Like not about to live on the street, broke. But like I just bought something really expensive and now my savings are gone. And I look at my bank account and I'm like, I was rich a second ago. Yeah. Well, that's the difference though, right? Like, I feel like, I don't know, like, I feel like sometimes when I talk to an American, like, I talked to an American friend, and when she said she's like broke, like, it was sort of like I now work like 3 jobs to hold on to dear life, sort of. Um, so it's like a very different I'm broke to like to to the German, well, not maybe German, but just the more fortunate person. I'm broke, right? Yeah, exactly. But I definitely agree. It's like always, now I have a tinnitus out of nowhere. Nope, not going away. Ah, beautiful. You know, the tinnitus could also just have like a nice melody or something, but no, it's just like, like, thank you. Oh, now it got even higher. Amazing. Go to my parents every Sunday for roast dinner, but with brother's family as well. So looking forward to that. But half term next week, so I have time off to spend with my son. Nice, amazing. Oh, that's good. Are you excited to spend time with your son? Do you have something special planned already? Or no? I kind of feel good about that because I can be the help I would have needed in the past. Yeah. I think that's really amazing and that feels really empowering, right? Like, you're a provider, Fluffy. You're like cash daddy. Right? It must be really empowering. I feel like, I don't know, I can really relate to this. Like, with, I don't know, whenever I'm like able to like offer my sister something or like somebody else something that I really had to learn sort of the hard way or sort of like achieve in a hard way, then I'm just like, yes, slay. Yeah, it's pronounced that way. Do you read books like Atomic Habits? You seem the type. I actually haven't read Atomic Habits, but my husband has read Atomic Habits and told me about it. It seems like a really interesting book, and I would definitely add it to my reading list at some point, but at the moment, I'm way more interested in psychology books. So, what I'm reading. No, no, it's not here. Wait, let me get the book I'm reading right now. It's this one. It's called Hold Me Tight. And it's basically about like relationships and how to have a healthy relationship and all of that stuff. But it's about a lot of psychology sort of in within relationships. And it's like I don't love it in every chapter. Like I do feel like sometimes it's uh, well, like it's a really good book. It has a lot of knowledge for sure. The writing style could be more interesting sometimes. But yeah, I guess not every book can be as good as. Um, so these were the other books I read, and this is my absolute favorite. Do you know this one? To Fight Against This Age, Young Fluvi? Like, this is on fascism and humanism, and oh my god, I love it. It's actually written by a Dutch person. Like, the author is called Rob Riemann, and he's Dutch. I didn't even know, but absolutely amazing. Sadly, already has like water damage because I took it to. Oh, you don't even see it. Well, that's good, I guess. Because I took it to the pool, but yeah. But yeah, To Fight Against This Age, chef's kiss. Absolutely love it. Love it, love it, love it. The version I have actually has sort of like a different chapter in the beginning. So the beginning is the eternal return of fascism, and so there's like introduction, the eternal return of fascism, and then the return of Europa. And let me check if I. I really love the last part the most, and I'm like, so I think the introduction, like either the introduction or the eternal return of fascism was something where I felt like good, but the best was the return of Europa. Like that part was wow, absolutely love it. Then I read Getting the Love You Want, sort of like also about like relationship, psychology and stuff like this. Has at the end like some exercises sort of. I didn't like I sort of like I read through them and I think like okay, they can be good, but I feel like they only can be good if like both partners like have actually committed to like proper honesty, which is sometimes not really possible for some partners, which in the first place leads to the disconnection. So it's sort of like one of those books where it's like if you're disconnected, I'm not sure if that's gonna fix it. Cause I feel like somebody like you first need to sort of like commit and then you can do those exercises and they're gonna help. But if you don't commit then well, yikes. But the stories mentioned in this books also like they're really beautiful, I think. But sort of like same-ish as the Hold Me Tight book. While I do believe I think the Hold Me Tight book is a little bit better. And then I read The Drama of the Gifted Child. And this one sometimes a little bit too sort of like definitive stated, sort of. Like with a little bit too much confidence in the outcome, which is not deterministic. But I think that's just something like I'm annoyed at because yeah, I might be autistic and that's sort of why I think. But yeah. So yeah, these were the books. Coming back to the normal topic. But yeah. Which books can you really recommend? Young Fluvi. Oh, actually, yeah. I have so many books I still want to read. I shouldn't be asking for more book recommendations. I still have like how many are those? I have like 5 books or something still. Like, ooh, yeah. I, I, my free time is planned. He's a teenager, so nothing planned. No, just see how much energy we have each day and pick something. And that sounds nice for. Oh, I'm glad, or I hope you're gonna be able to spend some quality time with him and just, I don't know, like make some memories which are like hard to forget, but in a positive way. And the fact you, why is it weird, Fluffy, to see your name there? Okay, let me. Okay. Is it about how to like recycle clothing? Or like there's a lot of um different things here with the name, sadly. Ah, fair. Well, Kraken is also there, so. I thought it's about cycling. Yeah, it can be about cycling as well. So that's sort of like the thing. I'm like, okay, like what are we talking about specifically? Because this name has many meanings. Also about business and stuff. Oh, okay. So less psychology in terms of like mental health and more psychology in terms of business. That's interesting. See ya, Fluffy. I can personally like only recommend to read some type of uh relationship psychology book. Like there's many out there and I bet some are shit, so like read a good one, I guess. But I don't know, I think this is can teach so much about actual like how to have like a happy relationship and a long lasting one at that. And sort of like I don't know, just sort of like, like fix issues before they become like a big problem sort of situation. So, and like a lot of them have like really good examples and examples of like other relationships which just sort of like give more insight. And you can even use this with like relationships about like, I don't know, just like friendship relationships, or even like, well, I guess parent-child relationships are not like, well, I guess not in this book because this is really like couples only, sort of, or like like equal relationships only, whereas parent-child relationships are not really equal. I guess like a parent-child relationship book would be really, really good as well. Because most of these like relationship books definitely evolve around sort of like overcoming like parent-child patterns and childhood trauma and sort of like warped worldview or belief system which has been built in childhood. So I guess really like a parent-child psychology book is also already sort of like touching on the subject of relationships or helping with that as well. So I think maybe just like a parent-child psychology book. Like the small one I was reading. I do think it wasn't like bad or anything. Like I think some of the statements were too deterministic, but apart from that, I think it was like really was good knowledge for sure. So anybody want to do like a mental health check-in and sort of just share how they feel right now today? You can sort of like start with anything. I can also go first if that helps. All right. I'm gonna go first. So, the last week, um, so like not this week, but last week, was really exhausting, and I was really exhausted. And I think I told you guys about this on Monday already. That I sort of noticed that I push myself a little bit too much and that I don't feel like I'm at sort of like the base level of energy like I usually am, but I still sort of feel like somewhat like exhausted from the week before. Um and to be fair, I think I could have taken it more seriously. Like I definitely think I did sort of like I don't know, like I wanted to like do the stream on Monday still. And thought like, okay, well, like I'm just gonna, like chill on Tuesday and Wednesday. But then on Tuesday I just got sucked into making those new emotes. Um so yeah, that was sort of annoying. Um But I'm also like at the same time I'm like really happy with the emotes, but I just considering like today evening we're gonna start on this like trip to Germany. I just feel like I should have rested. Um, so yeah, on Tuesday I was doing those emotes and then also didn't like really get the rest. Um, and actually also Zach noticed the same thing. So on Tuesday evening we had sort of like a bigger um like a wait, was it Tuesday evening or was it Wednesday? No, I think it was Tuesday evening. Maybe it was Wednesday. Um but yeah, essentially we had sort of like a bigger talk about how we both sort of recognize or like well Zach sort of like came to me with like that he's also like really exhausted and that he feels like less connection in the relationship, which I also shared, and then we had sort of like a bigger talk about how we how we're both exhausted, and that's probably sort of why because we both had like the week before we got like a lot of things done and didn't have like too much time where we like really spent the time together sort of, but just part of like next to each other, like everybody doing their tasks sort of, because he was writing like a application for like a new job he really wanted to get and did like a lot of extra work for that job application. um and yeah, Zach was really sort of like bummed out about this. um he's always very, I don't know, it's very hard for him to sort of accept that like being exhausted has influence on you sort of. um he's like easily disappointed, I guess. um that he can't like pull through or keep going and stuff like this, even though it's just like a very normal thing, right? um So we sort of talked about how we're gonna like on Wednesday, then gonna like really chill, sort of like as much as we can, and we're just gonna order food, so we don't have to cook and stuff like this, and sort of like just take off the workload. Um, and uh, yeah, that's like sort of what we did. Um, so on Wednesday we like really tried to just like chill, and we were watching like series and stuff like this. But it wasn't perfect either because we were watching like I just noticed like sort of afterwards how I'm still exhausted. And I honestly think that was because the series we were watching, like we were watching the new episode of the new Critical Role campaign, and it's really like fast paced and really like has a lot of tension, is really interesting, it's really exciting. And I genuinely just think it was like too exciting, like it was not like chill enough sort of. um and I mean Zex like still had to work, right? So that was like a lot of um I don't know, like chilling the entire day wasn't really in it. But we definitely like recovered a bit, and we definitely like connected and reconnected, which was really good and important. Um, and I don't know, like we always sort of like forget how important it is to really like how much connection you can actually get from like sharing what you struggle with your partner. Um, and I don't know. So I'm sort of like really happy that the topic came up, and then we did end up talking about it and really had this moment where we could like reconnect to each other. And yeah, so I feel like we're definitely still a little bit exhausted, I guess, and the next days are not going to be less exhausting, right? Because we're going to be on this like event in Germany. Um, but and we're going to be around friends, so it's just going to be like socially um like there's, I don't know, there's just more work you do sort of. And yeah, then next week is starting already. Um But the goal we sort of made for ourselves is that we're just gonna take it chill, or like as chill as we can. So sort of like don't stress about like, I don't know, seeing the whole convention and stuff like this, but just sort of like enjoying the things we do see and making the most out of it in terms of like balancing energy and really being able to enjoy it with the things we want to see. Um, and yeah, so therefore I'm like, I'm still a bit exhausted, but at the same time, I'm really, I don't know, I'm really happy and proud of myself. Because I sort of like did recognize it earlier on, and because I did recognize it directly after next week, even though I didn't like necessarily instantly act on it, it's like not as bad as it could be. Like usually those things, like especially like back in the day for me, just went into like I don't know, like a half burnout type situation. And nowadays I'm just, I don't know, yeah, I see like after 1 week like, oh, okay, I'm still exhausted, so I should take myself a bit back. And I think, for example, today we're gonna do like a little bit shorter as well, or like at least that's my plan. Let's see if that works. Um, but yeah, I'm sort of like, I'm happy that I noticed it, and I'm proud of myself that I did, and I'm proud of myself that I did plan on taking more rest. What I definitely do want to make better next time is that I do actually do that rest. And not let myself get sort of like sidetracked by feeling like, oh, I just quickly do this on the PC. But that I'm just like instantly like, no, I said it's rest day, so I'm not gonna start the PC. I'm just gonna read my book. I'm gonna chill in a corner and just sort of like this. Um, and yeah, so that's the idea sort of. And then what I'm really proud of is sort of like um how we sort of like reconnected, because Zach and I have uh we have sort of like a pattern from back then, that when we both feel like overwhelmed or like exhausted, we sort of like disconnect from each other. And in those moments, then we don't, how do I say this? We're just, I don't know, like, we're just a little bit more touchy around each other, I guess. And I don't mean touchy in terms of like physical touch, but in terms of like being easier to like irritate and or sad and stuff like this. Um, and so I don't know, like when that pattern came up then again, it was, I don't know, it was way easier to just talk about it and have like a really like conflict resolving talk, instead of sort of like diving into this pattern and uh I don't know, just like blaming each other and um sort of like putting that emotion you had from just being exhausted like onto the other person. And yeah, I think I'm just like really proud of my um how I was able to sort of like communicate and articulate all of that and handle that conversation. Because I think I did a really good job on sort of like uh, resolving that conflict or disconnection. Um, and yeah, then I already started a new exposure therapy. So last week we had exposure therapy with like darkness in rooms. Now we have exposure therapy with sleeping in the bedroom with the door open. Which to me is a little bit crazy, but anyways. um which was, funnily enough, it was just fine. So not really sure how, if that has properly worked, sort of. Like I feel like maybe the situation is not really correlating enough with sleeping at different people's places. But I think now with like being at my grandma's, I guess I can try that again. Even though I don't know if it is sort of like translating to that situation. Um, but yeah. So I guess that's also why I've just been more exhausted, because exposure therapy is really exhausting. But I take more breaks in between um, to sort of do it in like steps. Well, just got a book from a friend. I need to read that from a friend. Need what? I just got a book from a friend. Need to read that next days. Oh, okay. Which book is it? Yeah, but sort of to finish it off, I guess. Um, what I did recognize in therapy is that with now that therapy is ending, it's like my therapy is gonna end like end of this year. And it's a really odd feeling because I still have like lots of things I want help with and support with. Um, but yeah, we just sort of like, I don't know, like we believe I'm gonna be like done at the end of this year. Where I feel like, okay, that's like great that we believe it, but it's at the same time it's like I just notice how there's like how I'm like scared to not have enough time to get all of the things through that I want to get help with. Um and how I low-key like stress myself to make the appointments like as productive as possible. And I feel like that's just like it makes sense, right? Why I do this. But at the same time, it's just sort of like, well, you know, um, it's an odd feeling to sort of like to have something which was kind of like a part of my life, of my like weekly routine, um, ending then. So that's like a really weird feeling. And it's also a bit scary because I'm like will I be ready? Like will I be fine on my own, sort of? Um, where I do sort of feel like, yeah, but like, I don't know, I'm just, I guess I'm like a bit scared that there's something I don't see, um, which is gonna make it an issue or something. Um, or that it's just like hitting me harder than I think it will. But it's definitely, I think it's definitely gonna suck to sort of like lose a friend. Because that's the annoying part. Like, I don't know, like some people have therapists I don't know, they don't care too much about. But I really, really like my therapist and we have amazing vibes. And I don't know, he's like barely older than me, I think. And it's just like, I don't know, like he really feels like a friend. And it's so annoying that this friendship now just has to end, sort of. Um, yeah. Am I a bad person for listening to metal? Why do you think that? And welcome to the stream, Idle Hands. But yeah, so interesting times in therapy. Definitely challenging to sort of like get to the end and do so much like exposure therapy. Um, but yeah, I don't think I'm a bad person for it, but I get a lot of slander for it. Do you understand their like? Do they voice like concerns or something, or like do you understand their concerns? People just usually call me a psycho for it. Hmm. Who are those people? Like, do they know you, or do they just, I don't know. It's not even the heaviest kind of metal. I mean, even if it were, just random people. Hmm. I think they maybe can't understand you, you know, and like they can't relate to you or understand why you like metal because they don't. I'm not really into metal, so I don't know any of the songs. Um, but I think if I don't know, like there's with some music groups, right? There's like ethical concerns people have. There's like I don't know, like there is sexist or racist or stuff like this. And then it's more about the artist or the band in specific than the music genre, right? So I don't think a genre for itself is like can have the implications that a person is bad. At least I'm not sure if there's like a genre which is just sort of like ethically um bad or whatever. I don't think there is. I think it's usually like just specific artists or something like this. Um and then it's also like not connected to just the music in specific, right? But it's more of like that you by listening to the music support a message like that, and that is sort of being judged. So I think if people judge you for just listening to a genre where there's like no, like you say yourself, like you don't really understand it and they don't know you, so they don't really understand you. Um and it's, I don't know, just a genre of music. I don't think you're a bad person for it now. Like, I don't know. I think it's like really cute that you like are concerned about this and that you try to like that you like listen to them and you sort of like take it serious in a way. Um but if you like try to look for evidence on their opinion and there is none, um then it's not something you need to be concerned about, you know? It's the same with like anything else, really, in our society. If like there's like a lot of people are concerned about things, right? But it always sort of depends if there's like a reason for it. And if you agree with that reason or not, sort of. So, I don't know, for example, that like I don't know, Trump is the president of the United States, like that's concerning for a lot of people. And if you try to understand them then and see their reasons, it makes a lot of sense, right? And I don't know, I think the people who call you a psycho for like listening to heavy metal, if they don't know you, they are probably more concerned for you because they just see this genre and they see it's like really loud and like I don't know, maybe like to some people, like to me, I think it would be even like hurtful, maybe. Like just because I'm sensitive to stimuli, sort of. And I would definitely never. And I think that's maybe just why they're like concerned in that regard, you know? But I think if it's fine for you and if you like really enjoy it, it doesn't. It's also like the concern doesn't make you like a bad person, right? It just also means that like they're like are you fine, you know? But yeah, we like peanut butter and jellies. I'm not fine. Hmm, but I'm good. How do you mean that? And peanut butter and jelly sandwich, I tried it. It's not as bad, but it's not my favorite. I don't like the texture of it. And welcome to the stream, Potato Man. The travel to uni is sort of a hustle. Hmm. Do you need to go soon, Fluffy, or how's that topic coming up? I'm like good, but not. Should that mean something like you're at the moment you're good, but in general sense you're mentally unstable? I feel everything and nothing at the same time. Hmm. I feel like listening to stuff like heavy metal, or for example, also watching series which have like I don't know, just like horror and stuff like this, makes a lot of sense if we feel numb. Um, because if you feel numb, you don't really feel alive. And usually we sort of do want to feel alive. And I think that's why we then look for like really, really heavy stimuli to make us feel alive. For example, like heavy metal music. Um, or I don't know, sometimes also like really like hardcore rap or whatever. Um, oh yeah, just like series which are like a lot sort of like which have a lot of stimuli. I walked for 8 hours every day for a few months while fasting for up to 5 days at a time. Oh, why? This seems like a lot. I'm already on my way there. Good luck, Fluffy. Maybe you can find something good about the travel. I have no clue why, I just did it. Do you think it's good or bad for you? Like, do you like how it makes you feel, or do you don't like how it makes you feel? Hmm. Yeah, how does it make you feel? It was bad for my body, but I just felt like I was floating throughout the few months. Hmm. Have you ever considered therapy or have been in therapy? I've never gone and I don't plan on going. Is there a reason for that? Do you not believe in therapy, or is it like expensive, or like, I mean, there's like many different reasons, right? Mm. I don't really believe it would help me at all. I just disregard my issues a lot of the time, so I convince myself I have no problems. How is that working? Like, is it working well so far? I'm still breathing, so I'd say so. Hmm. I gotta go. All right. Goodbye, Fluffy. You're at the gym right now still? How did you like the procrastination talk, by the way, before? Could you relate to it? Or do you not believe in what I said? Do you think it could help about sort of like thinking thinking about the goals a little more sort of like clearly and actively, making a list and stuff like this. Also, idle hands, are you what is your goal of life? What is like how do you want to live life? What is the like what is the life you want to achieve? I'd like to have a family someday. Kids and grandkids and whatnot. That sounds really great. Sounds like a really, I don't know, like a really good life. Sounds like a happy life. Sounds also sort of like you're mentally stable in that life. Obviously, on money. Fair. Family, I'm into spirituality, so that. And I have a dream to help others who are struggling with mental health, but I don't know how. Gotta help myself first, I guess. It's really good to help yourself first. um, definitely. Sometimes, I don't know, like we have a lot of people who sort of like think they can, um, like, I don't know, it's like, it's sort of like always in a gamble. If you help others, if you didn't help yourself yet. Um, because sort of like the way you live life is leading you to the life you live, right? So it's sort of like giving advice will lead others to the life you live right now. So sort of like if you live like, I don't know, if you're like half still in depression, then it's like, yeah, probably rather leads to depression than out of depression, sadly. I think awareness of mental health has increased, but there's still a lot of people struggling around me, and I feel the need to build something for them. I understand. That makes a lot of sense. It's definitely also the thing why I'm here, sort of, right? I think sometimes just like being there for the other person to talk to can already help. Like here, right? Idle hands. I fear you might have not heard what I asked you. So I'm just gonna repeat it. It sounds like a really happy, idyllic life. It sounds like a mentally stable life and happy life. Um, is it that? Potato Man, this stream is for people to talk about really vulnerable things and open up. Um, and this is not easy for to do. So I don't know. I don't really want to pull this into ridiculousness. And I ask you to do the same. Let's just respect what the other people are doing here. Let's respect how they're vulnerable, you know? And that this takes strength to speak up like this. All right. Bye. I think it's only going to get worse. People's mental health, the way it's going, it'll be a pandemic already, is a silent one. I'm not entirely sure, actually. I think it can still go both ways. But I definitely think that we, for example, need more therapists. So I don't know, like where you live still, or like what age you are, maybe. But if you have the chance to study psychology and become an actual therapist, definitely do. I think that's the best way, and you don't need to be healed when you like start studying, because it's gonna take time, right? So I don't know, if you can start already, then definitely do that. I think it would be a very happy life. I think so too. So what do you think needs to change, idle hands? I think I need to grow through my issues. How does that work directly? Learn how to love yourself. Is there more? I always put myself last. Hmm. I care about how everyone else feels more than I do about how I feel. Hmm. Is there more? People tell me it's okay to put yourself first, but it feels selfish to me. Hmm. Mm. What do you think about others when they put themselves first? And you can be honest here. There's nobody who's gonna be offended. Probably nobody from your direct social circle. I don't think much of it, honestly. Yeah, it's not bad, right? It's just what they do, what people do. There's actually some jobs which expect you to put yourself first. Funnily enough, it's usually jobs where you care for others. For example, like a doctor. For example, also like a psychologist or therapist. It's, and I'm not saying like everybody does it in that field, right? It's also a struggle. Um, but in these jobs, for example, if a doctor is not taking really good care of himself, he can't really take that good care of others. Because, for example, if his like physical health is not as good, and if he's not like eating properly, not doing like proper sports and stuff like this, he's probably gonna get sick easier, and he wouldn't be able to be there for his patients or see as many sick patients as if he's like really healthy and won't get sick from seeing those patients. And this is something we don't really get taught too much, right? But apparently, if you really care about others and if you really care about helping others, you need to put yourself first. You need to take care of yourself so good that nothing anybody else does is going to put you off your game. Sort of like, no matter how sick they are, you're not going to get sick because your health is that good. No matter how depressed they are, you're not going to get depressed. And you can feel all of these like negative feelings they feel without getting into a negative headspace yourself. And I feel like it's really like I say this to you, and I know that even I like also I struggle with this a lot also with this stream, because it's like it's hard to put that time into yourself, knowing that there's other people you could spend that time on. But it's just sort of connected to the quality you can offer if you are sort of like at your best. And apart from that, there's like if you say like you like it feels wrong to you if you take care of yourself even though it feels like normal to others. Um have you like how do you feel when you try that? Like when you notice, okay, like I don't want to do this, like this feels wrong, but you still do. Have you ever tried that? because it can offer like a lot of like so like if you haven't, that's no problem. But it can offer a lot of knowledge actually to sort of face that. In some cases, my girlfriend would practically command me to take care of myself first. Hmm. Hmm. But have you ever done it on your own, sort of? Because I wonder what the inner story to this would be. Like what's where the resistance sort of would be the most, you know? Like for example, like do you don't want to do it because you maybe don't know how to take proper care of yourself? So you feel like, or your body feels like, well, this is like, I don't know if this is helping anyhow, or if this just is like wasted time. Um, it can also be that one is like scared of how society is seeing that, and if society is thinking you're selfish. Sort of like there's a lot of different stories which can sort of evolve around that behavior. And it can be like really beneficial to know which story is evolving around that pattern for yourself, so you're able to sort of like fact check that that story, I guess. I do the bare minimum to keep myself healthy most of the time. Hmm. Do you have a plan how to go from your position now in your mental state right now to go to the life you want with kids and grandkids and being happy, being mentally stable, being able to be a good parent, being the parent you want to be? I don't have a plan necessarily, but I'm going to try my best not to resort to substance abuse. Well, I mean, substance abuse is gonna get you there, right? So substance abuse is um more like I'm not gonna take a step down into the toxic cycle, right? That's been a problem in your family for a long time. Mm. That's sort of the thing where therapy comes in. Like, what picture do you have of therapy? What do you think is therapy, or does therapy do? If I can ask you. And again, just say what you think. Like, don't worry about being polite or whatever. I don't usually like talking about my problems with people. I feel like a burden every time I do it, and I rarely get anything out of it. But someone feeling bad for me, which is something I never want. Hmm. I understand. Mm, if it helps, your therapist is getting paid to do what they do, right? So it's definitely like I understand why, for example, some people have resistances to like talk to their friends because they're like look at them, like they're like busy, you know, like they can't like you want to like you expect me to like put more on their plate, like look at them, like they're struggling already, like they're not going to be able to handle it. But with therapists, luckily, they're paid to do this job. Like they do it out of free will, um, and they get compensation for it. Like this is their job to do it, right? So it's not really like a burden. You're also like not the first person with those issues. You're not the person with the biggest issues. Like most therapists probably had an experience where somebody like died on them. So like it's in like a weird way, it can sort of like offer some comfort to know that like one is not really special with their problems at like for a therapist. Um like they usually like had lots of people like that already, you know. Um so this is not something where they're like oh my god, I'm gonna be depressed now myself or something. Like they have learned how to deal with these emotions, and they have learned how to deal with carrying this burden, sort of. Um, and they have learned like at least good therapists. There's definitely like quality differences for sure. But a good therapist also sort of sees the person um behind behind the face, you know? So they sort of like they will get what type of person you are, and they will get that you don't need like I don't know, them to feel sad or to be compassionate or whatever, but that you just need solutions. Where I do want to add that sometimes these solutions will sort of need compassion. Because, for example, like you say yourself, you need to learn yourself. So you need to learn compassion towards yourself. Um, and honestly, maybe you don't like the feeling of other people having compassion for you because you can't really relate to that. Um, or some people feel also guilty for having compassion for themselves. Like there's a lot of stories around this again. But this is like sort of like what therapy can offer you is that you go there, you talk to a person which has clocked in to listen to problems of people. Um, and to listen to people, for example, being even suicidal. And they, for one, are trained for this. So they actually can give you like good help. Like they know what to say, they know what to do, you know? it's not like a friend who's like way in over their heads in that moment, and who's also sort of like halfway, who has like even more pressure on them because you're one of you're one of their friends, right? And they don't want to say anything wrong. Um because they don't want to hurt you and stuff like this. And it's also about like, it's because your therapist doesn't know you yet, they get this clear picture. Um and don't have that pressure which family members or friends have. And yeah, and they have knowledge because they studied this. And that's how they can like really help you to find the way you want to go, you know, and achieve the goals you want to achieve. Because they're not going to put other goals on you. They're not going to tell you like some goals are stupid or whatever. Like, they just support you in the goals that you have, sort of. Like, they listen to you and they listen to your goals and they try to just support you to be able to achieve these goals on your own. Um, and you don't need to, in therapy, like, I don't know, like talk about like really old problems the entire time. And therapy also doesn't necessarily have this like awkward silence in between when you don't say something or whatever. Like, therapists know how to make it comfortable for people. And they also know when to make it uncomfortable. Good therapists. But that's also why like not every therapist is really suited for oneself. And sometimes we just need to switch therapists to find a therapist which is really suited for oneself. But getting a good life is not easy for everybody. Having this happy family and kids, being a good parent, like succeeding in life in that regard, that you're gonna lead a happy life, is not the same for everybody. It's not the same effort. Like, some people like yourself come from a background of substance of abuse, you know? So it's, yeah. I started to cut the talk so suddenly, but I gotta get to sleep. I appreciate you for listening to me. Thank you. I gladly listen to you. I'm really like, thank you for sharing so openly and vulnerably. I'm live every Monday and Thursday, so you know, I would be glad if you come around again and we can talk a little bit more. I would really enjoy to be there for you, you know. So hopefully you find some good sleep, some good rest, and then we see each other the next time. Here's my Discord, by the way. And yeah. See you the next time, Idlands. Bye bye. So, yeah, that was a that was a rapid end to the talk, but that's fine. Um so, is there anybody else who wants to take part in a mental health check-in? Or not right now? Oh, actually, my Twitch is telling me that an ad is about to start. I don't know if that's really true because sometimes it's just like really different. Uh the timing for me than it is for you, apparently. I don't know why that is. Like this tool with like telling you when the ads are is technically supposed to like help you as a streamer to know when people can listen to you and when they don't. But we sort of like found out that it's just not accurate. It's just lying. So I don't know if you guys gonna get ads in 7 seconds or if you don't. But I'm just gonna use the time and make some tea and get something to. Well, actually, I still have water. Go to the toilet and air out the room real quick, and then we see each other again. And if anybody else wants to take part in a mental health check-in, you're really welcome. Yeah, go for it. Oh, hi GeForce. Welcome, welcome. How you doing? I was about to make myself some new tea. Um, I can switch the tea to later and wait with that. But I do need to go to the bathroom real quick. So I'm gonna be back in a minute, but you can definitely already sort of start or think about if you want to keep part, what did I want? If you want to take part in a mental health check-in, how you feel right now and how the rest of the past week has been, and yeah, just start with that if you want to. For how long you keep on streaming today? It's sort of like it always sort of depends if we still have something to talk about or not. But usually there's like someone and something we talk about or we find a topic to talk about. But I think maybe till 4 or like maybe 5. But yeah, I think around like 4 or 5 I'm gonna end today. Because today evening we're actually like still, yeah, driving over to Germany. So I still need to pack a few things, get ready, and take a break beforehand as well. So yeah, around 4 to 5 I would end the stream today. Or at least that's the plan. We'll see. But yeah. You would have time right now, if you have time right now, for the mental health check-in. I'm gonna start making boiling water, and I'm gonna be back in, yeah, 3 minutes or something. All right. I am back. I have to go quickly in 12 minutes. So at 50 or at like 51 or something. Because I put a cookie in the air fryer. So then I'm like gonna take it out. But that's not gonna take long. But yeah, thank you. So you do peer support? Yeah, exactly. So we're just peer support. And yeah, usually just sort of like I guess we sort of adjust to like what the person needs. So either like emotional support, or I don't know if they just want to rant, or if I don't know, sometimes I guess like a little bit of guidance or something. Yeah. Well, in like in the Netherlands, there's like workers who actually have the name of like sort of like experience worker or like expert or something. I guess it would be translated. And I don't have that qualification. So if that's a qualification you mean, I don't have that. I'm also not a therapist or anything. Like none of this support, like it's not professional. So this is just sort of like, I don't know. This is, I guess, like the first step for people who don't want to yet talk to a therapist, or who aren't like ready to talk to a therapist yet. Because there's, I don't know, I feel like there's a lot of resistance to actually seeking help from a therapist in our society. And I mean, then of course there's like waiting time. So for example, for people who are like on the waiting list but don't have anybody yet to talk to. So I don't know. I'm more of like, I guess like an online friend with my own experience plus some books and studies I read. So I guess you're a nerdy online friend. Yeah. I'm not Dutch, I'm German, but I live in the Netherlands since a few years. So yeah. How about you? I mean, I take it with an L in your name. You're maybe from the Netherlands? Except that an L is for something entirely different and not Netherlands. Mm, gezellig. Ja. I was actually when like there's a whole like culture around like Dutch comedy from like this like expat perspective, right? And about how important it is for like Dutch people to like on the cycling path to like cycle next to each other and cycle like gezellig, right? And it's I actually was once in the Netherlands by a Dutch person, right? I was like flamed for doing that actually, and it was like on like a cycling road, so there was so much space to like pass us, like even for a car. And this guy was just on a bike and just was so mad at us for like cycling next to each other. Where I'm like, have you lived in the Netherlands? Are you sure you're Dutch? Because, like, what? I don't know. But yeah, to the critique of us being on a cycling street. And like, what does he mean? Like, there's a lot of space. He only came back with the answer of racism. So I guess there wasn't much reason for the critique, anyways. Oh, Enig Recovery College in Utrecht. I live close to Utrecht. I'm just saying. Now, you know, like, we don't need to meet or anything. I'm just saying. I live close to Utrecht. Enig Recovery College. I didn't hear from that yet. Oh, wait. I need to... So, are you okay with... My friend, where like I'm multitasking right now. Like today evening, I'm going to Germany for Spiel, which is like a board game event, so con whatever. And she just texted me. So the planning I knew was that we're meeting today evening at 7. That's why I'm like streaming right now till like 4 or 5, because then I still have 2 hours, and then we're gonna like move to what? Wait, call? Huh? Hi. So yeah, I got this message right now. Like, didn't we say like you maybe or? Yeah, but I thought like for emotional support, and then we said like, oh, but you can also just drive that. You know, like if somebody like comes along, then it's probably better for you to come along because you can actually drive the part. Mm-hmm. And then you would like work at home still, or? Mm, I mean, you could like, would it be okay for you to still work at home for like an hour? Like if it doesn't happen, you know? Okay, then I would say like definitely do that, but I'm gonna text her and like figure out what the fuck's going on. Okay. Yeah, I mean, if you don't make it, don't stress yourself too much. Okay, like we're gonna manage, but okay. So, see you then. I'm gonna figure it out. Bye. Okay. Funny story. Apparently, we had a misunderstanding. Give me a second. I know, like, I really wanted to like instantly have time for you, but I don't want to like leave them hanging because apparently this is something I said, and I don't know when, but like, um, Ah. I don't want to say which, I want to say with. It's not Halloween yet. Mm. Okay. Okay. I think the situation is handled. Okay. I'm so sorry this came in between. Like I really this is so classic, right? Like you make some like trip planning with friends and then at some point everybody's like who said who did what? Like we do what we do? And all of a sudden like the plan you thought like you had like entirely lined out and like everything is perfectly set into place is like falling apart because everybody is like, no, I thought we picked red. We said green. I bought blue. And it is luckily not about something we bought or anything. But it's, well, I don't know if luckily. This is about actually driving, so I'm glad we just like, there's like still all of the options are open. But we have to be a little bit flexible now. Possibly flexible. We actually don't really, we don't know yet. But yeah. Anyways. Oh no, I need to look for the cookie. Okay, wait. I'm back in a second. And hi, Dylan. Welcome. How are you doing? And thank you so much. Okay, the cookie's not done yet. Needs like 2 minutes or something. Like it's nearly done. But yeah, so yeah. So that's that. So anybody wants to take part in a mental health check-in? Or like, how can I help? Are there any questions regarding whatever? You know, Inning Recovery College? Ah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's where we were. I don't know it yet, actually. Because I don't live like directly in Utrecht. I just like it's in a distance where like if I want to go to a big city, I go to Utrecht, you know? But it's like not the place where I'm like daily or not even weekly actually. So I actually don't. But I do like I'm gonna know a PsyQ. That's apparently like a therapy type thing in Utrecht. And I'm having like an intake there because they have like an English group setting. But yeah. But yeah. So I was like actually planning on still showering today to fix my hairstyle looking weird situation. Because what is this? Do you see that? What is this weird? It's not getting better, I don't know. So you're working there? How's work there? And by the way, I mean, do you want to take part in the mental health check-in yourself as well, or are you more like interested in the how you say this? And sort of like what is the stream about? And Dylan, how has your work been, or your week and your day so far? Oh, the tea is so hot. Hmm. Okay. I'm gonna look for the cookie now and take it out. I'm back in a minute. We're not gonna talk about how I absolutely ruined my cooking now, okay? I just wanted to switch it from the hot plate to the not hot plate so it can cool down. And absolutely, I just messed up real bad. So, at Inig only experts by experience work there, no healthcare professionals. It's like being with friends. There are many courses and everything is for free. Courses for recovery, like honest, open, and proud. Also, there's a social meeting spot every Monday, Wednesday, or Friday. Oh, that's really nice. That sounds really cool. At the same time, I can imagine that, like, it needs to be, like, there must be, like, really competent people because I've been at, like, a. So, like, the place where I got therapy also sort of had, um, like a waiting group, which was exactly like sort of led by like experts by experience workers. And at some point, like at the beginning, that waiting group seemed like really, really nice. But I feel like at the like towards the end, there sort of was like a really weird situation going on. Um, where I just feel like I don't know, it could have been solved like way better. Um, and I feel like that was like one of those situations where you really knew, like, okay, they're like, it's, yeah, they're not trained in this, and you can tell. Okay. So I just got an update. Um, so I'm gonna have to stop the stream in an hour. Maybe before that, because that's when I'm gonna drive with her. Um, well, I already packed the dry shampoo, so that's fine. But just for everybody here, like if we want to get into like deep topics, we should start now. Because otherwise I think we might, like don't have enough time anymore. And I don't want to have to stop any like really nice conversation just because I have to go. I think that any could be something for you. If it's not as a visitor, maybe otherwise work. Um, I'm gonna definitely look it up. I do have to say that to be honest, not like this might sound weird, but I'm not uh, too motivated to work at a place or institution. Because I really don't like, I don't need the money, like it's, so I don't do this for the money. Um, and I feel like, I don't know, like I really want to have like sort of like a purpose which is like unfulfilled or something. Um, but I'm definitely gonna look into it and maybe be there at one of those like social meetings because that could be fun. Recovery college. 3 times 2 hours per week. Interesting. Just stopping by to say that like overlay looks fantastic. Thank you. It's really cute, right? I love it so much. I feel like, I don't know, like my overlay before was like fine, but I feel like this one, slay. Like, I don't wanna, I don't want to sound arrogant, but like, I do really like it. Like, especially like this thing that there's like place for this and this, oh, yeah, slay. I don't know. Oh, thank you. How you doing, Namlos? I'm hoping you do good. I could do with a mental health check-in, maybe. But it feels a bit uncomfortable doing it on a stream, I don't know. Maybe I'll just join the chatter a bit and leave it for another time. It's fine. You can like, I get that. It's like for some people it's like easier because they're like anonymous and like nobody knows them, right? But I also understand that that exactly that can sort of be the reason it feels a bit odd. Especially like talking about something like really vulnerable, open like this. You can text me on Discord. Whoops. I can actually like okay, so we don't have too much time anymore, right? Which like I really oh, I'm already being warned on about her mom. So like this is interesting. Yeah, I usually like I'm really sorry I'm not able to be like fully there today, sort of. Like I usually really like to have the stream with like an open end, so we have like time for everything we want to, sort of, and then we like only sort of like the stream ends when there's like basically like nobody to talk to anymore. Like everybody has said everything they want to. But yeah, today it's just a little bit different because of the like because of the drive to Germany and this like weekend event we're going to. So I'm really, yeah, I'm sorry about that. That it's a bit awkward now. But if you have time on Monday or Thursday, Dylan, I would love to talk to you and hear about things. And you can, of course, you can always just like join for chatter, and then like, if you know me a little bit better, if you know the community a little bit better, then open up, and that's entirely fine. And sometimes actually, maybe we just come across a topic you can relate with because of somebody else, and then you don't even need to talk about it, but you can just take just profit from somebody else starting with that topic. The thing I wanted to sort of offer is that, or what I usually sort of like offer in these situations is that I sort of start myself with like a mental health check-in, and then like you know me a little bit better, and then you can start with the mental health check-in. But yeah, I just feel like today we don't have time for that. So I don't know, like what do you prefer? Like do you should I maybe still do the mental health check-in so then you know me a little bit better and then like next time you feel like opening up, or should we maybe talk about a general topic where you don't really need to get into it yourself or like talk about your experience as much, but you can just sort of get like a general idea about how we see the topic in this community. It's just cute grade. It's the same like here on stream actually. Technically, okay, I don't see it here either, but technically I should be the like the upmost person, right? Because I'm like the admin. Oh no, it's not cute grade. I'm lying. It's grade. Actually. Oh no, wait. This does say it's cute grade. Wait. I have streamer mode enabled. Ah, no, it is cute grade. So wait, I'm just gonna see. I reacted to you joining. So now you should get a ping with my name essentially. But yeah, Dylan, what do you like most? What do you think is gonna help you most now? You can also just ask like a very specific question if you have like a specific question. Like the other day, we sort of had the question like, what can you do about like sort of like anxiety and anxiety attacks? Although I do have to say that's a really big topic, but and then actually the other option you have is all my VODs are still here on my channel. And I usually like highlighted the parts where we actually like get into the mental health sort of talk. And I gave all of those videos, well, it's not all of the topics are in the title, but with the sort of like the biggest topics we talked about are in the title. So if you, for example, have some topics like, like anxiety or work problems or autism or burnout or procrastination, like all of those things, we definitely, like, we talked about them before, and or like mentalizing and those kind of things. Yeah, that's fine. I'm glad you say that, actually. I feel a little bit stressed myself as well. And it's like one of those things where I like, because of like my mission, I guess, for this like stream, it's, I just sort of like, I push that stress away a little bit. But you're actually like, I'm glad you bring it up, because I do feel a bit stressed myself as well, because this is like, I thought I had way more hours in the day-to-day stuff, and now like in 50 minutes I'm just gonna be driving for like, I don't know, like 2 hours or something, and then I'm gonna be driving for some more hours. So I don't know, a lot of changes. So yeah. But it's gonna be fine. You know, actually, let's do some breathing exercises and a little bit of stretching. We have been sitting for quite a while. All right. So, evil. Yeah. I'm not a mother. I don't have a child. It's just sort of like a community thing. I do have two sisters though, who I'm essentially like second mother, so. So, we're just gonna do some deep breathing. Just seems a bit weird to hop onto other people, their topics, when they're opening up, like not wanting to take away their time. I get that. You don't necessarily need to like fill the whole conversation all of a sudden, right? Like there's sort of like middle ways. You can just sort of say like, "Oh yeah, I feel like that too," and then actually you can even help that person to not feel alone, you know? Because it can sometimes be like really scary to open up like this. And I feel like it can feel really validating actually if another person says, I like, I see you, I get that, I feel like this as well. And it's so overwhelming, you know? So I think if you don't like fill the whole space, but you just take part in it, you know, it can even make the entire talk better. I feel like some of our best talks maybe have, is that low? Have sort of started with people taking part and sort of like helping each other see that they're not alone, you know? Did you notice something? No, I didn't find this. Should I? How's your health and happiness lately? For me, I'm struggling and have my hardships, but I stay positive. Um, For me, the last week was really exhausting. But this week, I was able to sort of like, so at the beginning of this week on Monday, I was able to sort of notice that I haven't been as rested as before and that it sort of like took over into the next week. And even though like on Tuesday, I gotta say I sort of messed up the whole like resting plan. On Wednesday I was able to rest. And um on Tuesday evening actually I had like a really nice talk with my husband as well, because it was like we were like so exhausted because like every one of us did like their like projects, and we were sort of like more like living next to each other because we were so focused, like really like hyper focused on our projects. And yeah, we just sort of like noticed how we feel like less connected to each other. And it was like a really nice talk where we just were able to reconnect and talk about how we're struggling with resting right now, because now it's like under the week again, and like all of those things you need to do have to be done, right? And then we decided that like so yesterday on Wednesday we're just gonna order food, and we're just gonna just try and give us like as much space to relax before we leave to Germany as we can. Um, and it was actually really nice. Um, and I think I'm not like entirely rested yet. But I definitely like my plan is to sort of like give myself space in the next couple of days and also today. So that's why, well, didn't, didn't work out too well because I wanted to end stream early to then have a couple times till I have to leave. And now with having to leave early, this is not really in it anymore. But at the same time, there's like that much space that even though these things are going on now, like I think I can do it. Like I don't think it's too much. Um, which is really nice. And the other thing I have actually done for myself is that, so with my mom, it's sort of like a complicated relationship, like with my parents in general, sort of. And my mom was texting me like yesterday or something, or like I think yeah, I saw it yesterday. And I don't know, it just got like political and personal, and I don't know. Then I answered her back, and I'm not entirely happy with the answer I got. Like I sent back because I stepped into like this old pattern, I guess, where we just like I don't know, like scream at each other. But today I was able to step out of that pattern and just texted her like sorry, like I'm not gonna even listen to the voice message because like I don't have the energy for that right now. And frankly, I don't want to have the energy for that at all. Like I'm just so done with this whole like I don't know, like like things can just be nice. You don't have to scream at each other. You can also just be reasonable, and try and understand each other. And I do have to say that she like a minute ago or something, she sent me like another message, but I think I'm just not gonna read it and just give myself a break from this. And that's also self care. Um, because even though you would maybe think that your parents should take care of you, some just can't. She's one of those people who can't. So yeah, that's sort of what I'm proud of myself for. It's it's not been too easy the last couple of weeks because I have a lot of exposure therapy, but I'm handling it very well. I feel mentally stable, even though it's exhausting, and I'm able to be there for myself and able to give myself the rest I need. And even though it's not perfect, it's definitely I don't know, it's not leading into burnout or anything right now. Like I'm able to sort of like go back into the green zone. Twitch helps me a lot to cope with my problems. Do you do besides just checking mental health also stream games? Sometimes I do, but I do have to say that I game in general just way less than before. And I'm usually only interested to game with people, and because I don't have as many friends right now who game, um I just don't game a lot in general. Like I have like two D&D campaigns IRL right now, and I just, I don't know, yeah, not happening too much. I play like two games of League or something, but I don't feel like, I don't know, I feel so weird streaming those because I'm like two games and then I go offline, like that's it. But yeah. But how about you? Like, do you game? What is exposure therapy? Um, Exposure therapy in concept uh, is means that you expose yourself to your fears and anxiety in a manageable way. So it usually means that you have some type of anxiety, which is holding you back. So it's an anxiety, a fear which is not serving you in your life. For example, for me, it's dark rooms, or it has been dark rooms. And I know it's a silly fear. It's like a lot of those fears are actually sort of silly. But it doesn't matter because it's like still something where even though I don't like mentally and like intellectually sort of like recognize it and can relate to it, it's something my body feels, and I have resistances because of that. And these resistances, for example, lead me to avoid certain things or like sleep worries and stuff like this. And so with the exposure therapy, it's sort of like it starts at like the smallest step you can take, where you can experience the fear and the anxiety, but where it's not overwhelming you, and where you can sort of like safely interact with this anxiety. So it doesn't turn into a panic attack, and it doesn't turn into another negative experience, but that you can actually sort of like leave that experience again with having collected some evidence that this fear you had has actually not come true, and that it actually wasn't that bad as you thought. And the more you collect this evidence, the more your head is actually tipping the scales and making you feared less, because the fear in itself is sort of like disproven in that moment. Um, but yeah, but there's like many different types of exposure therapy. So this is why I can only like sort of like, I don't know. This is the one I have been doing recently. There's also imaginary exposure therapy, and there's also exposure therapy in terms of pictures or videos or sounds. Like it really depends a lot on like what you're anxious about and how your fears work, sort of, to sort of like pick the right thing to really help you sort of get over your personal fear. Do you also do peer support in your Discord channel? Um, well, I guess I would. But I definitely like, I do have like a mental health uh like a channel, like a mental health channel and a physical health channel. Um but it just sort of like hasn't been used that much. Um so yeah. But I definitely would do that. Mm. I would like to invite to have a look at the okay. We do oh my god. We do have a self-promotion tab, by the way, if you want to promote your okay. This is getting too far. If you want to promote your Twitch channel, GeForce. Well, I didn't rant for half the day. I mean, sometimes ranting is just necessary, you know? But I'm glad that nothing happened upon this.
Having a good day.
Oh. Oh, damn. You have a lot of text. Sorry, that was a little bit blunt, maybe. Okay, I'm gonna read this later, because I don't have the time now. But I definitely I see how it has gotten actually, I also already noticed that I inspired some friends of mine who also stream to sort of have in their stream titles do you need anybody to talk to and stuff like this. So I feel like I really like how we sort of because mental health has gotten so much more publicity nowadays. I feel like now we really have the sort of manpower to actually bring a change in society and talk about our problems. But I do really hope that the way we talk about our problems is not my concern is that the fears and concerns we have in our society are being instrumentalized for certain political views. And I really hope that we maintain, especially in the mental health side of social media, that we sort of maintain the picture that this is about us healing and not about us blaming other people for our bad mental health. I really hope it's staying that way. Because I don't know, I think society right now is really there is a lot of concerns and a lot of fears and a lot of negative emotions, and I think a lot of people are overwhelmed with the situations right now, and I absolutely understand. And I think it does need to change, and I do think that we do need behavioral changes, but I really hope that it doesn't turn into I don't know, into a mud battle or whatever. Or not more than it is already, sort of. And hi Naranim, how you doing? Catch you guys another time, keep it cozy. Thank you. See you guys on Monday, your first day. Bye, Dylan. Was a pleasure to have you here. Don't forget to join the Discord or the TikTok or Instagram or follow to get their live notifications. If you want to. Alright. Bye, GeForce. Enjoy. And hi, Naradim. How you doing? Are you doing well? Doing good overall. Swinging half in while my online class is on the other screen. Oh, naughty, naughty. um, Actually, if there's nothing important to talk about anymore, I would consider going offline right now because then I still have half an hour till I have to leave. Which is definitely not enough time to shower, but it may be enough time to pack the rest of the things I need to pack or eat properly because right now I'm just eating a cookie. Thank you. I'm so excited to see what they have. I really hope they have cool like D&D merch or products or anything around D&D. I can't wait. um but as you all know, we're gonna do some breathing and stretching before we leave each other. So that we all do something really healthy for ourselves. So, stand up for a second, everybody. Because we have been sitting for a while and our bodies are not meant to sit like this, okay? So, the first thing we do is just sort of like just shake whatever body part you feel like shaking. If it's your butt, shake your butt. Just move it in a way where you feel like moving or where you don't. Hi! I'm stopping the stream right now, but I'm like doing some stretching still. I'm gonna join her in like half an hour or something. Okay. She wants more like emotional support instead of somebody driving. So. Yeah. All right. Try to just stretch in any way you feel like, sort of. So, for example, your arms like this. You can also just try a stretch, and then if it doesn't feel like it's giving you something nice and it doesn't feel like it's releasing tension, then just like instantly skip to the next one. And if it feels too much, then just do it a little less. Like, don't rip yourself in two, please. Make yourself really long. Try to be the longest possible. Touch the ceiling. And then what we can do is sort of like just stand there and like do like this. Because when we sit, our lower back is actually sort of getting stuck. And if we do it like this, we're sort of like making it a little bit more mobile again, helping the vertebrae to get space to breathe, which is obviously a metaphor. And usually you can also do this while sitting. But if you do this exercise like first, and like you try this one, like touching your toes, and then you do the one to the side, and then you try to touch your toes again, then you usually notice how you actually get far lower than before. All right. And now we start with the hands at the floor and just take a really deep breath, like one of those like yoga poses. All right. And this is how I'm gonna send you off. Drink something, stay hydrated. All right. Air out your apartment, your room, to stay healthy. And look at these flowers, because we actually have studies which show that flowers reduce stress. Just looking at a picture of flowers is literally reducing stress. And if there's flowers in the same room with you when you get to know a new person, you actually you see them more positively. You remember them more optimistically, and you probably like them more. Like, isn't that crazy? Like, they literally, especially these warm colors, they make you feel like energized and joyous. While white, blue tones, like purple, sort of like that direction makes you feel more relaxed. And this is definitely also influenced by your personal preference and what your favorite color is. But that's the power of flowers, y'all. Like, get yourself some flowers. Like, they literally, you're probably going to be less depressed if you have flowers. Like, they are that powerful, actually.